Alrighty. So, yeah, I'll give it a few minutes. And yeah, as per usual, it's very much spontaneous, unplanned. So, yeah, let's see who jumps on board, right? We'll give it a sec. And while we do that, I'll take a sip of coffee. And then we'll take it from there. Okay, so somebody just jumped on board. Let's start off with a little test here. Is the audio okay? Is the video okay? Please let me know. Hey guys, can you please let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay, so we can continue with the session. I think there's a little bit of a lag going on there, to be honest. I'll give it a second. Is anybody there? I see there are people there, but I don't see any activity just yet. There you go. All right, so who's there, guys? Hey, there you go. All right. Okay, so James, and I assume James is from New Zealand. Is that right? Correct. Werk prima. Okay, so you're Dutch, obviously. Yeah, there you go. Yo, yeah, how are you? Okay, we'll get the ball rolling. Cool. Okay, guys, well, Ian, there you go. Yeah, New Zealand, that's right. For those of you who don't know, New Zealand is probably the most gorgeous country in the world. Just saying that, yeah? Just been trying to fix my model, okay. Right, guys, so yeah, like I said, this is going to be a very unscheduled, unplanned session. And what I want to talk about with you guys is how you stay motivated as a 3D artist, right? The reason why I want to talk about that is for the simple fact that I hear this all the time. People have a super hard time staying motivated, right? They get frustrated because they can't find the right job. They can't get a paid job. They can't get an internship. They don't like what they're doing. They think it's too complicated and all that sort of stuff, right? So before I dive into that and explain what that is about and what you can do about it, right? Let me know if any of you ran into something like that, right? Do you have problems staying motivated? Do you have problems, being excited about the work you're doing or the study you're doing or the internship and so forth? Yeah, let me know. So I got a little hook to dive into. Oh, cool. Excuse me. Cool comment, James. Thank you. Thank you so much. So do any of you have any trouble staying motivated, or are you all just motivated all the time? Anybody? Somebody? No? Okay. Like I said, I think there's a little bit of lag going on here. I'll just kick this off and let's see what you guys come up with, right? Okay, so what we're going to do here is the why game. Okay, COVID for sure. I get unmotivated. Try to switch it up a bit. Remain motivated. Okay, cool. Right, guys. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do the why game. And what I mean by that is this. When you do something, whether you are a 3D artist or anything for that matter, you do that for a reason, right? Okay. Now, like I said, I have conversations with 3D artists on a daily basis, and they will tell me, I am so demotivated, so frustrated, so whatever, right? And then I will ask them a very simple question. And I'm going to ask you guys the same question just to play that game with you guys, right? The question that I ask is, why did you become a 3D artist? And usually I'll get something like, because it's cool, right? Because it's cool is not a reason to become a 3D artist. there has to be some sort of value in there for you, right? That makes you happy, that makes you excited, that makes you energized, and so forth. Now, you're probably going to say, is that so important to know what that exact reason is? Yes, that is very important. And I'll tell you why. Let's say I'm talking to somebody and I say, hey, you know, why did you become a 3D artist? Oh, because I like to work alone, right? I don't like to work in a team. I like to work alone by myself behind my computer. Don't have to talk to anybody. Don't have to deal with anybody. That's why I'm a 3D artist. Well, then I'll get back to them and say, listen, if you want to work alone, there are like 1,000 jobs you can do where you work alone, right? You can drive a truck. So why, you know, that's not enough motivation to be a 3D artist. So to pinpoint the reason why you are a 3D artist is very important. And I'll get to this in more detail in the next step here. Yeah. So somebody could say, yeah, I like to work alone. Other people would say, well, because I love games, right? Okay, but do you love playing games or designing games or building games or what? Because what happens all the time is this, and I've seen this with clients of mine, 3D artists. I've seen this with friends of mine. They would become a 3D artist because they love building games, right? They get their degree, they're looking for a job, and then a local ArchViz studio is looking for an artist. Well, that's the big break, right? So what you do is you take that job and you start making, you know, houses, models of houses and whatnot. Remember where you wanted to do the game thing, yeah? But hey, you know, you paid for that expensive study and you have to, you know, get rid of that debt and start making money. So you start working for this ArchViz studio. And because it's your job, you have to learn all these things about skyscrapers and buildings and front doors and windows. And you don't care about any of that stuff, right? Because you want to make games. But at some point, you're there. Now, you still want to get into the game industry, right? Every time you do an interview, they'll say, hey, what's your background? Oh, I work in ArchViz. And what they'll do is they'll probably go with somebody who's actually, you know, been working in games. So it's critically important that you understand what the answer is to the why question. Why did you become a 3D artist? Or why do you want to become a 3D artist? Absolutely critical. Now, how does this help you to stay motivated if you know the answer to this question? Okay. I'll give you another example. And this is, it's technically called the theory of constraints. And I don't want to make this too difficult, but I'll just give you an example, right? So you're in college, you're in university, and you're almost done with your studies. And you know, when I get out of here, I need to start making some money, right? Because, you know, you're living on your own or not, but you got your phone, your car, maybe you need to make money, yeah? So what you're going to do is you're going to start to look around for a job or an option to make money. So you're walking down the hallway and there's these posters on the wall saying, hey, you know, we are looking for 3D artists. So you copy the details, you write them down. So that's option one, right? You tell your friends you're looking for a job and they saw something online, so they send you a link. So that's option number two. You found a newspaper, you know, one of those paper things, and there's a job thing in there as well. That's number three. And then your parents say, hey, somebody called the other day. That's option number four. So what you just did is you took a stick and you drew a circle around yourself in the dirt, right? Because what's going to happen out of these four options, one of them is not paying enough. The other one is too far away. The other one, you didn't get the job. And the last one, you got hired, right? So what you did here is you accepted what was left, basically leftovers, right? How are you going to stay motivated in a job that is a leftover job? It's the least desirable. It's just the one that's left. This happens every day. Now, let's turn this around. Let's do it the other way. Let's say, listen, I know exactly what I want. So instead of, you know, picking the options that are around me, I'm going to design an option for myself on a piece of paper. I'm going to write down exactly what I want. I want to work in the game industry. I want specifically to work on props. I want to, and so forth and so on. Now, you might come up with a design that is impossible to achieve, maybe, but still, hear me out. So you come up with this design, and then instead of looking within a radius of 10 miles, you look wherever you need to look to find whatever this is, right? And if you can't find it straight away, you go there in steps. Every job you take, every internship you take is a step closer towards where you want to be, right? And if you do it that way, you always have your eye on the ball. You have a goal of where you want to be, right? And even if you don't get there, like in day one, you know that you're working towards that goal, right? So if that goal for you is to work at Pixar or whatever, put a big Pixar logo in a picture frame and hang it on your wall and look at it every day, right? So that is kind of the process here. Now, please let me know. 32 people on the live stream right now. Please let me know how this resonates with you, right? Does this sound, does this sound true to you? Do you think this is a thought process that can help you, right? James is saying passion, for example. You can have passion for a lot of things. The question is the passion being fulfilled by the choices you made? And are the choices you are making based on the right decisions? Okay. So I'll take a sip of coffee. You guys think about this and let me know, right? Let's see. Ian is saying, been a bit demotivated due to the company that I'm working with. That's the reason, also due to the lead that not doing his job. So motivate myself is to change a job, right? Okay, well, that's another thing, right? Looking at realism. Hey, Alice. Looking at realism here. A lot of people, they have this notion of, I want to be a 3D artist because it's like the coolest job ever, and it's Hollywood, right? It's a job. At the end of the day, it's a job. You're doing work. You are working for a boss. He or she is telling you what to do. At the end of the day, you punch out, you clock out, you go home, and you do it again the next day, if you are not working as a freelance artist, right? Now, because you're going to be doing this every day, it's pretty important that you come up with a way, right, to do it properly. Now, in this example, you're running into a lead artist that is somebody that is either not skilled or not motivated, or is just an a-hole or whatever. You're going to run into that everywhere. I've been working for a long time, right? Everywhere I've ever worked, you'll always find somebody like that, right? Is it the answer to change jobs? Do you like the job besides that lead, right? Or are there more than one reasons why you want to leave there? And if you are going to leave there, where are you going and why, right? Give this some thought, because you can't run away from things that you're going to find everywhere, right? Okay. Okay, interesting question here. Let's see. If a potential employer was going to ask me why I wanted to be a 3D artist, how would you answer that question? Well, how would I answer that question, or how would you answer that question? That's a very different thing, because what you're saying here is exactly what we're talking about. And is a potential employer going to ask you? Of course they will, right? Now, if I had to answer this question myself, and it seems that that's what you're looking for, right? I started out in a time where there was no 3D. 3D didn't exist yet. Computers, well, first of all, computers didn't exist yet. Yes, I'm that old, yeah? So there were no computers, right? And what I was doing is I was drawing. With pencil, with ink. I was painting. I was, all that. Now, again, I asked myself the question, why? Why am I drawing? Why am I painting? Why am I, and so forth. Turned out that I was doing that to create, to make visual the ideas in my head, right? I love to tell stories. Now, what better than to tell stories in a way that they're visual, right? That you can see them. So by drawing, I could draw stories, right? And my love of stories came from watching movies. I'm a huge movie buff. I love movies, right? So I wanted a way to express myself, tell stories in a visual way. So the drawing is just a method. It could be anything, right? But in this case, it was drawing. So I started drawing, and then as technology evolved and computers came around and programming was a thing, I started to write code, not because I love writing code, because I thought it sucked, right? But writing code allowed me to have another method to tell stories, right? So I had my drawing, I had my programming to do that. And then in the 90s, they started coming up with 3D, right? And I'm like, well, this is cool because now I can tell my stories in 3D. And I never necessarily wanted to work in an area where I was restricted from a creative standpoint, because an employer will tell me, I want you to do this and this way and so forth and so on. I want to tell my stories the way I want to tell my stories. But as a result, because of that, no employer is going to give you that freedom. So I chose to work as a freelance artist, right? Keep in mind, maybe your drive is different. Maybe you just enjoy the process of making props. Maybe you love to kind of dissect objects in a mechanical way and you want to understand how they're constructed so you can rebuild them in 3D, right? So yeah, let me know. So that would be my answer. Let's see. James is saying, I kind of found out I don't want to do it as a job. I want to improve my skills as much as I can in a direction that is applicable to my interests. Okay. Well, the question here, though, is, James, is what is your interest and how does 3D fit into that? And if you don't want to do 3D for a living, what is it that you get from 3D? Is that something that helps you to chill out? Right? Is it, and I mean, and that's fine, right? If answering the why question helps you to figure out that you don't want to do this for a living, that's pretty important, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, because making money as a 3D artist isn't easy at all. There are many ways easier to make a living than being a 3D artist. But if it's your passion and if you want to do it, make damn sure, sorry about the language, that you know what you want and why you want it. Because otherwise, you're going to spend the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years doing something that you don't like, all right? Let's see, you guys. Yeah, okay. So Alice agrees, which is cool. Yeah. Yeah, so Ian is saying, let's see. Still staying in the game field as 3D artist, but just changing company as I can't change the way how the company, small company, doing things. So I changed my way to do something else in the company. Well, first of all, it's not bad to change companies at some point, because you get different perspectives, you get a more unique skill set because you work in different places. You're bringing experience to your next job, which is good, and will help you to understand what you like better. Now, there's always the financial risk. I mean, changing jobs is always risky. Most people that work freelance have worked for several studios where finally they end up at a point where they want to work for themselves. That might not be you, but it's a good way to find out, right? So Kev is saying, hi, Mike. Hi, Kevin. How are you? Let's see. Felipe saying, your videos helped me so much in university. Thank you so much from Colombia. Thank you so much for checking out the videos. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Emmanuel is saying, motivation has been a love and hate situation for me. Always been rather go with discipline when creating art. Okay, well, discipline is always good. I mean, if you want to make a living, right, and you're living in this fantasy world of unicorns and rainbows, right, and you're just sitting behind your PC having fun all day long, you're not going to make any money, right? So it's not sustainable. You will not be able to continue doing that unless it's a hobby, which is fine, right? So you need to find something that you're going to be spending a tremendous amount of time on where you know that it fulfills your needs. It has value for you. It makes you happy when you do this, and try to identify exactly what it is that makes you happy. Sitting behind a PC working on 3D, there can be many things that make you happy. The fact that you're working alone, the fact that you can isolate yourself, the fact that you don't have a 9-to-5 job, all of these different things have nothing to do with 3D, right? They're just side effects of it. So just think about that. Let's see. Don't know how it will go in the new company in 2021, but it will at least be more happy as a 3D artist and improve my new skills. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Delius, I'm struggling with motivation because my job is very creative. I get home, I want to learn more, but I really just can't bring myself to do it. Okay. Well, there you go. If you are doing this for the right reason and right reasons, then you will need 5 people to hold you back, to stop you from doing it, right? I've been doing this for 30 years. I wake up at 4 a.m. and run downstairs so I can get to it, right? And how do you stay motivated all this time? Because you answered the tough questions. You had a conversation with yourself. No, I'm not nuts. You had a conversation with yourself. Why am I doing what I'm doing? If you have a hard time pushing yourself to do it, maybe you're doing the wrong thing, right? You're saying that your job is very creative. Maybe it's exhausting for you being creative. Maybe you want to do something that's less creative. Maybe you want to work as a 3D artist where they tell you exactly what to make, right? I don't know. Let's see, is it a requirement for a 3D artist to always have portfolio work updated? That is, keep making props every month, or is it fine to take breaks for some time since you are busy with your work anyways? Well, this is really not that much on topic, but I'll just answer it anyway. The purpose of a portfolio is to get a job, right? If you got a job, you basically don't need a portfolio anymore. But what if you don't like that job and you want to move on to the next one, right? Suddenly you're going out and you're updating your portfolio again. So what I would say is just organically keep on updating your portfolio with your best work over time. And you don't have to do a model a month. If you have 5, 6 new models a year, it's fine, right? Let's see. Sometimes I make something, but most of the time I chill. All right. So let me know how you can make money doing that. And yeah, I'd love to hear it. Let's see. I set micro goals. I prefer 2D animation and I make basic 2D games as a hobby. 3D is still something I'm very interested in. My micro goal is to fully make a character and rig it. Well, that's awesome. And that's a very smart way to do it, right? Find pleasure in the small things. If you have these bigger than life goals, right? Oh, I want to work with Pixar as a lead artist, right? These goals are so huge and probably so far away, if ever achievable at all, right? It's very hard to stay motivated. So break that into little pieces, 1 goal a week, 1 goal a month, even 1 goal a day for that matter, right? Anything that gives you a small step closer towards where you want to be is something that motivates you, right? I always say this, don't just enjoy hitting your goal, enjoy the journey. The journey is the most important part. I, for some reason, think that almost everyone here is younger than I am, which is usually the case, right? I've been around for a while, and if you can find pleasure in the small things and having a nice conversation with another 3D artist where you learn something, right? Or if you get to collaborate with somebody to work on something, all these kind of things, right, is something that will keep you motivated, right? Let's see. Okay, probably out of energy after a long day, so being creative at the moment is kind of hard. That's possible, absolutely. And being creative is not something that you can do on command, right? Everybody will have a rut. Everybody will be in a situation where they basically cannot create anything because they're just, they're empty, they're tired. find ways to re-energize, right? Drop 3D completely for a weekend. Don't do anything. Go and run, go and hike in the forest, go do whatever you need to do to be energized, right? Okay. New to 3D, hate retopology so much. Okay. Well, the thing is this. There's no job in the world where everything is fantastic, right? And it's just a step towards your end goal. And if you get stuck in, oh, I hate it so much, I hate it so much, I hate it so much, you'll never make it, right? I mean, there's always going to be something you hate. If you hate it that much, then basically find a job where you don't have to do it. That's all there's to it, right? Let's see, resting is pretty important. Yes, resting is extremely important, not only physically, but also mentally, right? Especially if you got a creative job and you are working with others and talking about the creative process, it can be very exhausting, right? Main problem, I want to teach myself so much. Yes, I know. I mean, like I said, I've been at it for like, I don't know, 30 years, and I still feel that way. So be patient, right? Small steps. I learned something new in 3D after some time. My interest gets to fall down from that thing, which is pretty normal. I mean, the thing is this. If you're making a prop, right? And again, this goes to the why question. Let's say you're making a 3D prop. At some point, you're fed up with making 3D props. Now, the question is, what do you like about making 3D props? And that is the question that needs to be answered. If you don't like that anymore because you made 10, then probably making 3D props is not what makes you happy. Probably there's another reason why you enjoy the process. And it could be because you want to do new things. Well, if you make 10 props, it's no longer new and you want to do something else that's new, right? And that is a thing that is, I would say, a problem right now. People have the attention span, right, of seconds. People will watch a YouTube video for 12 seconds and go to the next one, right? I mean, if you compare this to movies, I don't know if you guys ever saw like a Wild West movie made somewhere in the 70s, right? You will see two people just standing outside looking at each other for like 4 or 5 minutes. That's unheard of nowadays. If you look at scenes in movies right now, it's like they cut a frame within 2-3 seconds because we have information overload. We got social media, we got all of that. We go and get information that's coming in and in and in and in and so fast, right? So you need to relax your brain at some point, right? And you need to figure out, what am I doing with all this information and what do I like and what do I not like, okay? Let's see here. Start small is key. I also want to do everything at once, but that doesn't work. You'll run out of motivation. Of course. I mean, if you want to become an astronaut, right, then probably it's a good idea to start to learn how to fly a plane, right? Because becoming an astronaut might take 20 years, that might never happen. If the only thing that gives you pleasure is being an astronaut, you're going to be miserable for the next 20 years and probably not become an astronaut. So you need to find ways in your everyday job that makes you excited, makes you motivated, you know, and have fun in what you're doing. Because who says you're going to be around 20 years from now, right? Nobody knows that. So might as well find something that you enjoy, right? Let's see. I didn't jump a whole bunch, did I? Okay. Yeah, I did. Sorry, guys. Let's go back. Looks like I just skipped 20 or 30 comments here. Sorry, guys. Nothing new. Okay. Hi from Zwolle. Okay. A fellow country person. Not sure if you're a guy or a girl, but yeah. Gradually start to make things again. I really enjoyed the job too. There you go. Bobcat Gaming. Do you feel that it's possible for someone who does 3D modeling as a hobby to move into the freelance modeling? Yeah, of course. Why not? Okay. James is talking to Vanek. That's very true. That's why I'm sticking to the little things. Yeah, pretty smart. Big fan from Pakistan. Thank you so much. Any joy on Photoshop tutorials? I got your email, Kev, and I'm definitely working on that. But I'm completing a freelance series on my channel that has to be done this year. The first video of next year is going to be a challenge announcement for a new 3D modeling challenge. So don't miss that. But it might take some time. But I'm definitely not going to forget that. Right. By the way, Kev, are you ex-military? Let me know. Let's see. Sounds great. Just try to split both and focus on your current obligation. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Fixing things, normal UVs kind of demotivates me from the creative process. 3D isn't flexible like 2D drawing for me. Yeah. Thing is this, drawing is basically almost always creative. Every line you put on a piece of paper is part of a creative process. 3D modeling or animation is part technical, part creative. The technical aspect, some people love it because of the technical aspect, but they're not creative. Other people love the creative aspect, but they're not technical, or they don't like the technical part. Now, again, the why question, because there are jobs in the 3D industry where you don't model in 3D, right? If you're a concept artist, if you are a storyboard artists still have jobs in the 3D industry. They work in 2D completely, right? Script writers, all these different jobs. So find out what the element is of the 3D job that got you into 3D, right? And maybe that will help you to answer that question. Let's see here. Just want to say thank you. After I started 3D modeling 5 years ago, your tutorials were the first teaching content I had. Dragon Age. Well, you are very welcome. Thank you for watching them. Vladimir. Man, you got a really Russian name. Awesome. Hello from Russia. Learned a lot from you. Can you talk a little bit about pricing yourself as a freelancer if you still did not? Money is a great motivation too. Okay. Well, Vladimir, I don't know if you know my YouTube channel or not. I just posted part 8 of a 10-part series on how to become a freelance artist and how to stay a freelance artist, right? And it covers everything. It covers business plan, sales process, negotiation, dealing with clients, networking, finances, revenue, profit calculation, everything is in that series. Okay. So check it out. The last 8 videos that I posted on my channel are all about your question, right? So definitely check that out. And that said, and I said this before, what I found is these videos, and I thought about it for years to make these videos, they are super unpopular, right? They hardly get any views, which is so odd for me because I personally think they're probably the most valuable videos I ever did on my channel, right? But a lot of 3D artists, they don't want to deal with the business side of things. They don't want to think about contracts and clients and money and taxes and all that stuff. They want to create stuff, right? Problem is, that is the single biggest issue why people don't succeed. They got the technical know-how of what button to push in Maya or 3ds Max, right? They got the creative know-how to create something cool in 3D. But as soon as they have to walk out the front door, find a job or a freelance gig, right, and make money, they get stuck. So if you have any thought on either working freelance or working for an employer, please check out those videos, right? Okay, enough about that. Let's see here. Okay, we got asked what we want to do after we graduate. Some said work at Disney, others said they want to work at Weta. I just wanted to make crappy YouTube videos. Okay, well, the thing is this. When people say, I want to work at Pixar, I want to work at Disney, I want to work at Weta, again, my question is, why? What do you know about Pixar other than the movies they make, right? For all you know, it's completely horrible to work there. I know people that work for Pixar, right? I've worked with people that work with Pixar. I've worked with Pixar. The thing is this, it is a company, it's a building with a bunch of people, right? And they're all into the industry, and together they make movies. That's what it is, right? So why do you want to work there? What is the answer to that question? Again, that why question. Yeah, because I can say I work at Pixar, or because it's cool, or because they made Brave or Toy Story, or I know it's cool, but you're not going to last the upcoming 10, 20 years in a job because you can tell people that it's cool, right? That won't cut it. If you legitimately have a reason why you want to work there, and you can explain that, because they're going to ask you, right? Pixar is going to say, why do you want to work here? And if you tell them it's cool, you're done. Trust me. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, freelance jobs. Now, freelance jobs is good to get a better understanding of the industry, right? Even if you don't typically work freelance. But keep in mind, though, that studio jobs, where you work as an employer, they are moving more and more towards freelance jobs anyway, because you get hired for a project's done, you're basically out of a job. You have to go and find another project. If that's the case, then why not work, as a freelance artist, right? You can still work for studios. Okay, what's my advice to get over a creative block? All right, good question. Now, first of all, what is a creative block? I mean, some might know, some may not know. But keep in mind, is it a creative block or is it a motivational block? A creative block means I need to come up with something, but I can't, right? They told me, make a fantasy character. I have no inspiration. I don't know what to do. Or you've done so many, you're sick of it, and you're always doing the same thing over and over and over because you're in this kind of automated process and your creative brain just shut down, basically, right? Now, what I like to do when I have a creative block is to start looking at things in a different way. For example, the reason why I'm in 3D is I like telling stories, right? So if I get into a creative block, I'll take a pencil and do 2D drawing instead of 3D work, just to tell my stories in a different way. I will take my photo camera and start making photos. I will start looking at things from a very odd angle. I will make a photo of a bicycle in the street, lying flat on my back and making a photograph going straight up from the bottom part of the bike, right? The bike looks totally different because it's a different viewpoint. In order for you to get out of a creative block, it's important for you to shift your perspective. Look at things from a different way or in a different manner, right? Write down a story instead of modeling it. Take photos instead of painting it. Draw it instead of, creating it in 3D and so forth. And maybe even don't create anything for a while. Watch movies, read books, watch cartoons, go walk in nature. Okay. Let's see, rather stress about a job I like than stress at a job I hate. That's very true. Now, keep in mind, stress is not always a bad thing. I mean, people think that stress is bad. Stress is very important for you as a human being to function. It has a purpose, right? It's when you have too much stress or the level of stress is off, that's where you get a problem, right? Let's see. Oh, yeah, always mix with 3D artists will motivate yourself too, which you guys always talking about 3D stuff and how to improve it in pipeline, like how to speed your work faster and so forth. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're hanging out with other 3D people, then, it kind of rubs off and they know things, you know things. Problem is, though, that if you exclusively are in 3D circles, if you know what I mean, right, you start to miss out on what's going on in the world. Developments of, and again, in my case, it's storytelling is my thing, right? That's why I'm in 3D. If you know why you're in 3D, then this might help you to understand what you need to do. So in my case, I talk to 3D artists, but I also talk to writers. I talk to producers. I talk to directors. I talk to technicians. I talk to people that write books, script writers, storyboard artists. All of these people are helping to create a fantasy, a story, right? And by constantly switching my perspective, it keeps me motivated, because I hear somebody that wrote a script doing something, and I'm like, could I do something like that in 3D, right? There you go. Let's see. Okay, that's a question about how to sell models. I'm going to skip that one because that's very off topic. Sorry about that. Way more lingering shots in older films. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Let me see. Where did I go? Okay. All right. Okay, there's a question about selling. There's a question about unwrapping a model. Let's see. And again, that's all off topic. Sorry, guys. That's why I like watching slow burning scenes. Well, some people just can't stand that. I mean, literally, if you go on YouTube, right? Not right now, but when we're done, go on YouTube, and what you want to do is try and find like the movie How the West Was Won or something like that, like an old Clint Eastwood cowboy movie, right? The scenes take forever, right? Forever. And, I mean, it's just a different time. People were patient. The information flow was much, much slower. Now everything goes so fast. And that's why a lot of very young people are completely stressed out. I mean, 22-year-olds having a burnout, right? 40 years ago, that was unheard of. That didn't happen at all. It's just, there's so much to do nowadays when you're young, and you got all the activities and all the sports and all of this and all of that, right? And it's too much. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Techno FX, please stop doing that. Hey, Anna, how you doing, buddy? Just came home, saw this. I'm fine. Yeah, I hope you're fine too. Let's see. Kev X Police. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Let's see. Thanks for your service, by the way. You can do either, and the scenes will stay. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Yeah, first time you watch my stream. Well, thank you. Thanks for explaining. Makes more sense. That's great. First time watching the stream. At 25, start learning 3D. Is that you're saying you're 25 and you started learning 3D? Is that too late? Are you kidding me? I mean, I know people that started at 45, right? So you are not too late ever, right? No problem at all. Okay, let's see. We got the little heart thingy. It's cool. Thanks a lot, Mike. You deserve 10,000 million subscribers. Oh, that's cool. I wish. Yeah, like I said, I'm doing the freelance series, and I would really appreciate you guys checking that out. I'm not the type to beg for views. That's not what I'm asking it for. I'm saying this honestly and truly because these videos are so important for you as a 3D artist. I know it's boring stuff. I know it's not 3D modeling and you guys don't want to check it out. It's basically a summary of 30 years of my life, of 30 years of doing this, of 30 years of experience, right? And if you can find the time, check out these videos. They will help you so much. I promise you, right? Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, that's a bunch of stuff about seams and UVs and stuff. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Whoop. Do they use? Okay, that's off topic as well. I feel. Excuse me. I feel as I get burned out frequently. Would a healthier work? I assume you mean work pace. Resolve this. There are a lot more variables here, Laura. First of all, everything is always about balance. If you work too much, you don't rest enough, not good. If you don't have time to take a breather, not good. If you're working on things that are not actually what you want to do, right? it's frustrating. It's stressful. Find something that will give you energy, not take your energy, or not just take your energy, right? So again, answer that why question. Why are you into the 3D industry? Why are you specifically into the job or the school or the role that you're in right now? What are you getting from it, right? Take a piece of paper, write it down. Somebody will say I'm a 3D artist. Okay, I hate UVing, I hate Ritopo, but I do love the modeling section. I don't like the texturing. So what is it that I like about the modeling? Well, the 3D view of something, tangible. Okay, could I obtain that by becoming an actual sculptor with clay? So answering these questions for yourself, clarify why you're doing what you're doing and what the actual reason is why you're doing that. Give an example. Truck driver. Why are you driving a truck? Well, because I like trucks. Well, what do you like about trucks? Well, they're cool. Why are they cool? And so on and so on. Finally, you'll get to the point where it's not about the truck at all. It's about being by yourself and being outside, for example. Yeah. What's my opinion on freebies? Doing free jobs. Don't do them, ever. Thing is this, there's a difference between not for money and no value, right? When people say, do this for me, I'll make you famous, blah, 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 disregard that. But there are other things there than money. If somebody offers me value, that's actual value, not promised value, your name will be in the titles of the movie. You will get a contract that's already signed that will start next month and so forth. That's actual value. In that case, I might consider it, right? But other than that, this whole, we're working on a game. I don't have any money, but if you do all the work for free, once we're famous and make a lot of money, we'll pay you. Forget about that, right? Unless there's value for you, connecting with people that's interesting to you, learning new skills that's interesting to you. These things are value for you. And if you feel it's valuable, then yes. Yeah. Let's see. I see. Yeah, that might something that I miss out too. Thanks for the talks. I'll remind myself. Okay, cool. Hello, since you have a lot of 3D connections, do you kindly have good resource for a cracked version of ZBrush? I'll just pretend you didn't ask me that. Okay. Okay, because to be honest, guys, cracked software, you're literally stealing money from fellow 3D colleagues. Literally, right? People always complain, why is Maya so freaking expensive? Maya is freaking expensive because so many people are using it and not paying for it, right? Now, you can have the argument about Blender being free, but that's a whole different thing. Let's see here. Lingering shots are okay if they're for the right mood setting, like horror needs a build-up, for example, but we don't need to watch someone walk 1,000 miles to get to the point. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I'm going to say that the storytelling elements of everything in 3D makes it so worthwhile. Making something in 3D, ask yourself this question. What if you made 3D, whatever you do in 3D, right? And nobody ever got to saw any of it, right? Nobody in social media, no clients, no other 3D artists, nobody but yourself. Would that have any value to you? Would you still be a 3D artist? This can help you to answer your question. Maybe it's important for you to share your vision, to share your story, and the feedback you get from people is your motivation. That's possible, right? So please answer that question for yourself. Okay, coolest name ever, Cheyenne. Sorry that I butchered your name here. I love that little square thingy where it says MH, because that means that you are a channel member. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Mike, finally, I managed to catch you on a live stream, and couldn't be a more pertinent topic for me. I'm struggling incredibly lately, past 2 months, to stay motivated because, well, a lot of that is probably related to what's going on in the world, right? and I'll get to the next section of your question here. COVID's going on, right? So a lot of people ask me, how does that impact the world, your work, the future of the industry, and all this kind of stuff? For me personally, I've been working at this desk where I'm sitting right now for years, right? And I'm still doing that. And, nothing changed there. We work digitally, we work remote. That didn't change either, okay? Let's see. Okay, let me go to the second part of your question. I'll go back up again. Oh, you got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Let's see. Despite all opposing, albeit anecdotal evidence telling me otherwise, I convinced myself starting out as a 27 is too late to become as good as someone who has started in the teens. I know 3D is my passion. Okay, understood. Well, the thing is this, 27 is very young, right? And let me tell you this, and you can believe this or not, but this is my personal experience, right? Okay, so let's say you got into the 3D industry because you love to tell stories, or you love to help tell stories towards, let's say, movies, towards games, towards whatever you're working on, because all of it is communication. It's a story, right? The thing is, when you are really young, let's say you're 20, you might have the technical skills, you know how to work in Maya, in 3ds Max, and so forth, right? What you're lacking, though, is the life experience. Life experience helps you to understand life, obviously, right? But it translates into your work. If you look at senior animators, for example, that work at Pixar, right? They are in their maybe 30s, 40s, 50s, right? They've been around for a long time. They had decades to observe other people. They usually understand better than somebody who's 20 what's going on in the world, right? And what you want to do in your storytelling process, if you're making something for an audience, let's say a movie or a game, is you want to tell a story or show them something that they can relate to. If you want to tell a story that somebody can relate to, you need to understand that person, right? And as you get older, you understand people better typically than when you're younger. So age is definitely a benefit. It's just a question of reversing your process. People that are 20 learn the technical and creative skills, and then they start to build life experience. People that start later in 3D already have that life experience, but have to catch up and get to the technical part and the creative part. Let me know if that makes sense, right? All right, let's see. I always feel as if I'm too late when I'm comparing myself to others who are better than me, and it's hard not to compare myself to others who are better. Okay. Okay, interesting. Well, the thing is this. Who are you competing with in the industry, really? Okay. If I go online, can I find 3D artists that are better than me? Oh, yeah. Tons and tons and tons, thousands. There are 59 people on this live stream right now, right? I mean, 61. I mean, even 40 of you might be way better than I am. That's totally possible. But does that mean that there's therefore no place for me in the industry? No, of course not. I mean, and I told this before in another live stream. If you want to start a bakery because you want to sell bread, right? Can you only start a bakery if you're the best baker in the world? If that was the case, there would be one bakery, right? And there's thousands. So who are you competing with? You are competing with yourself. You need to be better than the you of yesterday. That's all, right? How somebody else does doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's not about them. It's about you. You have a certain value today. You need to make sure that you have more value tomorrow by learning better things, knowing better things. Keep working on yourself. If you start looking around at people that are better than you, there's always going to be somebody better than you, right? And that's not the point. The point is for you to do what you love and to make a living doing it, right? Okay. Let's see. What do I think is better, freelance or a 9-to-5 job? Well, it kind of depends on your personality, right? Being a freelance artist is scary. It's risky. It's stressful. But at the same time, working in a 9-to-5 job is increasingly scary, risky, and stressful, right? If I'm going to be scared and stressful, then why not be my own boss? That's my point on that. The second reason is the days where you would get hired by a company and would have a job there for the next 20 years, they're gone, right? What studios do is if they're making a new movie, let's say, I don't know, Pixar, for example, Pixar's making a new movie and it takes 2 years to make that movie, they will get people on board to help with that movie for the next 2 years. And after it's done, you're done as well, right? They will have a core team that is on the payroll, but they use flexible teams more and more, okay? So as a freelance artist, you can still work for studios, but but you're not getting a salary. You are sending them invoices and they're paying them. It gives them more flexibility, but you as well. Let's see, a question about the art animation process pipeline. That's very off topic, so I apologize, but I will skip that because I want to keep a little bit on topic, okay? Let's see, Shayan, yeah, we talked about that. Daniel, hi everyone, hi, how are you? Okay, same question again about that pipeline, all right. Storytelling elements make everything so worthwhile. Exactly the reason why I started. I wanted to become good at it. Well, there you go. And the thing is, once you have that answer, right? Why am I in 3D? And once you are sure that that's the answer, this will help you the rest of your career. Because, like I said, maybe you like to be in 3D work for other reasons than the actual process of 3D modeling. In the beginning, because you don't know, you want to learn everything because you don't know what it is. Once you finally find that out, you're going to focus on it and have a lot more fun, right? Okay, Maya is expensive because Autodesk is a scammy company that buys products and shelf them and kills software. Okay, that's a whole different discussion, and I'm not going to go into that because that's not the point of the live stream. Hello, Mr. Mike. How do you optimize the render process for final scenes? Off topic again. Laura, I don't do 3D work as a job, but would your new videos help me freelance commission work that isn't 3D? Oh, absolutely. The video series is for anyone at all that wants to work freelance, whether you are a painter or an electrician or a bakery, or I don't care. It's about the essentials of running an individual business, right? It's about a business plan, about how to make contracts, how to negotiate, what the sales process, how do you find clients, how do you do personal branding, and so forth and so on. Yeah. Okay, Tom seems to like the bakery. That's good. Cool. Oh man, you got such a cool name, Konstantin Krishtianikov. Oh man, I butchered it, but I love it. Sounds badass. Where am I? Oh, I'm down here. Okay. All right. So guys, so glad I found this channel. Even happier to catch live stream. Thanks, Spacewell. Money Jordan is a pro. Isn't super hard to be a European freelancer? Hey, I'm a European freelancer. Is there any people from, let's say, India who do the same job or work at the same tools and can deliver? No, it's, you know, I get this question all the time. And actually, again, there you go. I talk about this in that freelance series, literally about this. Hey, I'm in Europe. How do I compete with artists in countries where the wages are much lower? If you want the answer to that question, watch the series. I specifically talk about this stuff. And first of all, it's not true. You can perfectly compete. No problem whatsoever. Want to know how? Watch the video. Yeah. Let's see. I recommend everyone to watch Mike's series on freelancing. I think it can be applied not just to freelance, but freelance and other kind of work. Absolutely. And also, even if you're not working as a freelance artist, if you are looking for a job as an employee, it's still important. Why is it important? Because at the end of the day, you as an employee are working for a business owner, right? Somebody owns that company, right? If you're working for a business owner, because of the knowledge that you get from the series, you understand how their mind works. And that means you can add more value as an employee. And as you do that, you get, promoted, make more money, and so forth. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. What do you do when I feel burned out on 3D or just to relax? Well, I have a second YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys know that, but I am heavily into outdoor and bushcraft stuff. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what that means, take a backpack, go into the woods, and make fire with sticks, and build a shelter with tree stumps, and basically hang out in nature. Yeah. Let's see. 3D technical approach is kind of weighing over being more creative, since finding the correct approach for me seems difficult, and the correct execution discourages my creativity. Any suggestions? Yes. Again, talked about what is your answer to the question, why? Why are you in the 3D industry? Maybe you don't like the 3D technical approach at all. Maybe you got into 3D because you love telling stories. There are many other ways to tell stories. You can make cartoons in 2D. You can sketch storyboards for 3D artists. You can create concept art. You can write scripts, stories. You can do any of that. So you need to answer the question, why are you in 3D? If you constantly find that you hate the technical process, probably there's a reason for that, right? Any good advice on setup, chairs, mouse, and so forth? Okay, sorry guys, that is off topic. Looks like I finally caught up with all the questions here. Cool. So give me some feedback, guys, based on what I've been talking about for the last 1 hour, right? What do you think? I mean, does this resonate with you? Is this something that makes sense to you? Let me know. Okay, this is a technical question. Okay, so let's do this. We're 1 hour in on the topic of how to stay motivated, right? Let's do another 8 minutes. Well, let's say 10 minutes, and we'll do open question, anything at all, right? Okay. So you can ask anything now, yeah? All right. So let's see. What's the best way to get good habits in correct topology? Well, a good habit is about methodology, and correct topology is about outcome. They're two different things, right? My advice would be topology is related to character use. Once you know how your model is going to be used, let's say it's going to be deformed, it's going to be animated, it will give you a lot of information on how the topology should be set up, right? If you were, for example, modeling for an animator, talk to the animator and ask the animator, how are you going to animate this guy? Is he going to be jumping, stretching or not? No stretching at all, and so forth and so on. And that will help you to understand the edge flow and that kind of stuff, yeah? Let's see, been making a character for a game job, and although there's a lot of mistakes, the client is loving it and not sending proper feedback. Okay, but if he's loving it, what's the problem? Unless you mean he's not loving it. Also, yes, for the little time I've been here, you give some cool advices. Thank you. Let's see. I think the organization gives space to work in peace and see clearly what needs to be done. How do you organize yourself? Do I have a lot of backups? Not a lot. I would say what I do is I put in I set up my system once, right? So what I'll do is I use my hard drive for my operating system and where I run my software, right? So I don't keep any files at all. on my computer. No 3D files, no scenes, nothing, no textures, nothing at all. First of all, it keeps my C drive fast, right? It's an SSD drive, internal one, keeps it fast. If I ever have to reinstall software, no problem, right? I don't have to deal with my files. Now, what I do with my files is I have an external drive system. I have multiple external files, and I will have a couple of them designated for all my files, and I'll have a couple of other hard disk drives that are a backup of those. Whenever I need to travel, whenever I'm out longer periods of time, I will take the backup hard drives and I will put them in a fireproof safe, right? So I always have a copy. Let's say my C drive crashes, right? I only have to reinstall the operating system and reinstall all of my legal software that I have serial numbers and licenses for, right? And then I can just, boom, I'm up and ready to go. If I get all my files going on there, it will take me days and I can't afford that. Yeah? Okay. Let's see. About the job thing, last 2 days I've been in a dilemma for my ultimate motivation. I would like to know your opinion about this. Also, could you please share your thoughts? If should one of the best to achieve the best looking results despite the production delay, or should just accept a review and go on with, okay. Not sure I understand what you're saying here, but what I understand is you are making a character for a game job and you thought it wasn't that great, but the client loves it, right? And he's not sending proper feedback. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand the question. Let's see here. Al's saying, I think every time I watch your videos on live streams, I learn so much and it motivates a lot. Well, there you go. So the topic here was how to stay motivated. Well, watch my live streams, right? There you go. So just keep in mind, guys, the reason why I make my videos on YouTube and the reason why I do these live streams is for you guys, really. I mean, I get comments from people saying, oh, your videos aren't entertaining enough, or you're not making any jokes and you're not using music and you're not, I'm not PewDiePie. I'm not Casey Neistat. I'm none of these people. I'm just a guy in the 3D industry that wants to share my knowledge with other people in the 3D industry. That's it, right? I don't do the fancy, flashy stuff, any of that. And the only thing I want is for you guys to move forward in your jobs, right? Or in whatever you're going for. So that's why I made these series again, right? And yeah, I know it's boring stuff. It's business, right? It's not, not cool, not fancy, none of that. But it's so important. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, let's see. We'll do one more question, guys, and then we'll call it a day. We're well over an hour in. One more question, and yeah. Okay, so you think flashy stuff's irritating? That's cool. Well, I'll give you an example, right? And I'm just going to be honest here. I was demotivated pretty much, right? So why was I demotivated? I have 130,000 subscribers. 130,000. Okay. I posted a video. I think it was on the Sales Pro, something like that. The video hit 245 views. 245. Right? I mean, that's clearly a statement that the content sucks, nobody likes it, and so forth. So I was really, really frustrated about that. I mean, 130,000 subscribers, 245 views. That should be like 24,000 views, right? So I doubted a lot, right? Is this content okay? Is it, is it good, or did I get it wrong, or what, right? And like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time. So, and I got feedback from people literally saying, hey, it sucks. And, not good, right? So I'm really happy if you guys are saying that it actually is something to watch. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I guess that's it. Yeah. Well, but the thing is, I've been going for 8 years. I'm not going to quit anytime soon. And, It's the channel's doing fine, and it's not about that. You know, I don't want to be a YouTube millionaire and drive Ferraris and wreck them and go to Japan and, you know, insult the country and all that. Is Autodesk good for beginners? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah. Guys, hang on. I'm going to give you the link to my Facebook Hangout group. Most of you might already know it. I think it's really important for you guys to be in a proper network, to connect with other 3D artists, to stay motivated, to find out about potential internships and jobs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So hang on one sec, and I'll give you that link. Hang on. All right, so here it is. And it's a group of people that follow my videos. And these are storyboard artists, concept artists, producers, directors, studio owners, game studio owners, people in the movie industry, actors, 3D artists, all of that stuff, right? And all of them have a different angle, you know, as far as, you know, what they're into. But yeah, I hope you guys check that out, right? Like, yeah, I could go on and on forever, but, you know, like I said, we're well over an hour in. Let me do this. If 5 of you in the next minute say go on for another 20 minutes, I will, right? Let's do that. What should I do, guys? Go on for 20 minutes or quit? Okay, that's one. Two, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Okay, we'll go on until we're at 1 hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, right. Cool. Thanks, guys. It really means a lot. Let's see. Always love your content. Keep it up. You're a great motivator. Cool. Unfortunately, I had to drop out of my first semester of college. Game development Maya was frustrating to learn with no prior experience. Opinions on Maya for poly modeling. Well, I've done almost 1,100 videos on YouTube, and by far most of them are in Maya. So I would say anything you want to know about Maya, you can find on my channel, right? Why is Maya good for beginners? Well, the thing is, it's not necessarily that Maya is better or worse than others. Maya is pretty diverse, right? I mean, there are categories of software if you think about it. You'll have something like, for example, ZBrush being an industry leader when it comes to digital sculpting. You will have Houdini when it comes to FX. And when it comes to 3D, it's either Blender or Maya or Cinema 4D or 3ds Max. Blender, Maya, yeah, Cinema 4D, 3ds Max. Cinema 4D, don't see that a lot. For the most part, people use either Blender, 3ds Max, or Maya. Now, Blender is free, as you know, right? So, hey, why isn't the entire world using Blender? Well, I got a personal opinion on that, and I don't want to get into a discussion with you guys what's better. But what I'm saying is 3ds Max is usually used by a lot of people that work in the arch-viz industry, right? So make buildings, make architectural designs, that kind of stuff. Maya, as in Maya and Maya LT, is much more related to the movie and game industry. Maya towards movies, LT towards game industry, right? And I think that the user interface is friendly in Autodesk products. I find that less so in Blender, to be honest. But I understand why people want to use Blender, because it's free. And I would rather have people using Blender that's free than using cracked versions of Maya, because that way you're not stealing from anybody. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. 2020, go. Or an hour, yeah, sure, okay. I've been told by my instructor ZBrush is best for detailing. Thinking about spending the few pennies for a lot. Well, it's not a few pennies, it's expensive. I don't recall exactly what it was. I think something like $800 or something. The thing is, though, you're talking about detailing, right? You're not talking about character sculpting. The thing is, if you're a prop modeler and you're working in Maya, for example, detailing props can easily be done with the sculpting tools in Maya. No problem at all. So then you wouldn't have to go out and spend $800 on ZBrush. ZBrush is much more for character sculptures. So full-blown, full-time, doing the whole sculpture thing, right? And yeah, just keep that in mind. If you want to learn ZBrush, of course, it's cool, but it's also expensive. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm only 18, just got out of high school. I wish I took a year off before college like I originally wanted to. Having experience before college would have saved me. Would have saved you. Okay, cool. All right. Love that you go on, but don't want to take your day. It's totally okay, guys. I mean, like I said, I do this stuff for you guys, and if you appreciate it, then I'm happy to do that. I plan to sculpt lots of dragons, creatures. Yes, then definitely ZBrush. I feel my 3D is stuck, not much improving, and make me burn out. I'm supposed to chill and calm down. Well, the thing is this: why are you burning out, and why are you stuck? Right? What happens a lot is people jump into, for example, 3D or Maya, whatever. They get a certain level of knowledge. They know how to do 10 things, right? And then they start repeating those 10 things over and over and over and over and over because that's their comfort zone, right? They're not growing as an artist. Why are they not growing? Because they typically, and I'm not saying you, right? Typically, people don't like to get critique, right? And especially with social media nowadays, you post something in a 3D group and people are dumping all over it, right? So you tend to kind of seclude yourself and keep on repeating those 10 skills you have, and you get bored because it's not exciting anymore, right? So you need to find people that will be positive, but also critical, and will say, hey, try this, and do you know how to do that, and so forth. And you will start to learn new things, and you keep on growing, which is much more motivational, right? Okay. Which texture software has a value in movies? Substance or Mari? Both. They're both used a lot in movies. How do you stay motivated when you have a lot to learn up and need to focus on getting your first 3D job? Well, first of all, staying motivated is all about setting small goals, right? You take a big goal and then you break it down. Let's say you got a 5-year plan. And again, the series that I did is all about this stuff, right? You take a 5-year plan and you say, okay, what do I want to achieve in the 5th year, in the 4th, in the 3rd, in the 2nd, in the 1st? What do I want to achieve 6 months from now? What about a month from now? What about a week from now? What about a day from now? Small goals. So you have something to check off, right? Okay, I accomplished this. I accomplished this. That's how I do that. Yeah. Okay. Stay motivated. Lots of biological forms. Yeah, like I said, definitely ZBrush. You can get ZBrush on a monthly plan. Yes, you can. But he specifically mentioned he wanted a lifetime license. So there you go. What's your opinion on building a 3D career on using free software like Blender? There's nothing wrong with that. It kind of depends on if you're going to work in the industry. Chances are they will say, we want you to work with Maya, we want you to work with 3ds Max, we want you to work with Cinema 4D. That happens all the time, right? And if that's the case, it kind of helps if you know how to do that. What I say, it's not a big problem to switch from 3ds Max to Maya. No, it's not a big problem at all. Maya to 3ds Max or 3ds Max to Maya. You would be, if you have experience in one or the other, you would typically be up and running in a matter of 2-3 days, right? Or even faster. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the answer, Mike. Definitely good food for thought. Yeah. And again, thank you so much for being a channel member. Now, guys, I don't want to do this whole sales plug type deal. You see that little green square thingy? That means that Cheyenne is a channel member. What's a channel member? $4.99 a month, you get access to play back all of these live streams. As soon as this live stream is done, right, it's gone. Unless you're a channel member, then you can play it back anytime you want. You also get access to new videos way before everybody else and so forth. So if you're interested, you can check that out on my channel and you can become that, right? There you go. Can give advice about how to get hired, I assume. How to get hired by a game design company as a 3D artist. Again, watch my series. I am doing 10 videos on that right now. 8 already up, right? Okay, what do you say? A degree is necessary to get into the industry? No, I would not. You don't need a degree. Does it help if you have one? It does. But at the end of the day, it's about your output. How easy is it to get a job as a modeler? I plan to work on commission or with an indie company. Too nervous to work with a AAA company in the future. I work on commission. I don't think that's smart, to be honest. What do you mean by commission? You mean if they sell, you get paid? If they don't sell, you don't get paid? I wouldn't do that. Indie company, yeah. I mean, AAA company, don't worry about it. You will get there at some point, you know, as far as when you get towards the point where you have all the experience, right? Let's see. I guess it depends on your location. Mike, could you please share some knowledge about project management tips and workflows? Daniel, again, the videos. The videos that I posted are all about that. How do you structure your work? How do you set things up? How do you, you know, building a portfolio? Same thing. Check the video series. Is there a playlist of all the previous live streams? Yes, there is. There is. Yeah, let's see what else. Top 3 advices on building a 3D portfolio. Okay. Like I said, it's in the series, how to keep continuing with a project when I understand to get it done, but don't feel like. How do you keep continuing with a project when you understand how to get it done, but you don't feel like doing it? You're ashamed of it? Okay, so what you're saying is you're working on something and you think it sucks and you don't want to work on it anymore, right? How do you finish it? Is that your question? Do I think there's more need for 3D artists than for 2D artists? Well, you're saying in the industry. Well, what is in the industry? What industry? 3D industry, 2D industry? There's a lot of work for 2D artists, trust me, a lot. I mean, and 2D is not always pen and paper, right? I mean, look at motion graphics, which is typically 2D. 3D artists do 2D stuff, 2D artists do 3D stuff. It's kind of a blend, but it's usually a very different job. 2D artists tend to work a lot in the printed media industry. So magazines, that kind of stuff, right? 3D more towards movies and games. Let's see. Okay, to answer the question about the modeling that you're ashamed of, if it's not for a client and you still have this idea in your head that you want to make it visual, I would start over, right? Would you recommend paying for courses to learn how to use Maya to its fullest in between the time I'm out of college? I'd like to gain more experience, so next year is better for me. I would advise you, and I don't want to sound arrogant here, but I would advise you to watch my videos, because I did like 1,000 videos in Maya, right? The reason why I'm saying this is not because I think I'm better, because I'm not, right? What I'm saying is I've been making YouTube videos for the last 8 years. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of 3D artists. And what they tell me is that you basically get a lot of information, right? And yeah, so check that out. If that fits your need, you get the information. It doesn't cost you anything, right? And if it doesn't, then you can decide to get a paid course. And if you do get a paid course, go into my Facebook group and ask the 4,000 3D artists that are there what they have done and whether it was good or not. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right. Was working on my CV, hence that dim urge to complete it. Well, yeah, okay. So if you're working on your portfolio and you got a model that you know that sucks, right? Why on earth would you want to have that on your portfolio? It's better to have 5 good pieces than 10 crappy ones. And also, when you put something on your portfolio, put up the best work you have. And also show your process, not just the final render. Show the UV map, show the texture map, show your concept work, show a sketch if you have one. That will tell them exactly how you think, how you work, what you do, and so forth. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll go on for 4.5 more minutes. Yeah, and then I'm going to go and get some lunch because I'm hungry. But I really hope you guys check out the channel and check out that series. Like I said, I put a lot of effort into it. So yeah. Can I introduce myself? Okay. What do you want to know? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm Mike. I was raised in Canada in North America. I currently live in the Netherlands. Was originally trained as a mechanical engineer, right? Very technical, but I always had the love of movies and storytelling. And then as I lived in London, Ontario. And then as when I was in school to become a mechanical engineer, they introduced computers and computer programming software and so forth, right? Very early days, very basic stuff. So yeah, I started to learn how to code, write programs. I started to write my own games because they didn't exist. There weren't any games. And yeah, I went from there, and then I went and did something completely different. I went into business. For a long time, I worked as a consultant where I would help companies become more productive, more efficient. For example, airlines merging, banks merging, that kind of stuff. So big companies, right? Okay, so I don't know if that's what you wanted to know, but let me know. If you got any questions, let me know. Yeah. What's for lunch? Quesadillas. I'm gonna make my own quesadillas, and I love Mexican food, and yeah, it's very non 3D related, but anyway, yeah. A whole new flame for 3D art. That's cool. That's cool. I'm happy to hear that. And from Stratford, London is a cool place, but lately it's been a bit wild. Yeah, I've been to London, Ontario last year, and it was scary stuff. I mean, when I was there, it was like like very different. At what age did I start out? Start out in 3D. Well, technically, I started. I mean, 3D didn't exist yet, right? Just keep that in mind. And yes, I am that old, right? To give you an idea, in 1983, right? Yes, you heard me right, 1983. That was basically the first time you could go into a school and mainstream find computers, right? And you would have this black screen with a blinking green light thing on it. That's it. No windows, no nothing, right? And if you wanted something, you had to code it yourself. So technically, I was about, I would say, 18 when I started there, right? But before the actual 3D industry started, like baby steps started, we're talking about 1995, right? So I was 30. And then that was like, it was nothing like you had right now. It was like you had a sphere that was moving around, and that was 3D, and that was like absolutely awesome, right? And from there, I just started building on it. So there's not one date or one age where I started doing that. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have a Swiss family number that you start with? No. You see this right here, that logo? I make all my videos on YouTube for free, right? I don't ask for money. I don't, do any of that. But the thing is, I spend I would say all my time, but a lot of my time, I would say 3 full days a week on making the videos, on doing this kind of thing, right? And a lot of people say, well, do the live streams and sell them online on peopleperhour.com or fiverr.com or whatever. I make these videos because I want to share the knowledge that I gained over the years, because when I started out, there was nobody else to do that for me, right? But that doesn't mean that I don't have expenses. I need to pay the bills like everybody else, right? So what I need is sponsorships. So the intro in my videos, that's my sponsor, right? These guys give me money to advertise their company so you guys don't have to. That's basically what that is, yeah? Let's see. Been among 3 months. Right. Enjoy your meal. Thank you. Am I married? Well, I have a girlfriend. Does that count? Let's see. Can you tell us about your first internship job experience for an animation studio as a 3D artist? Okay. Like I said, this whole process for me is different because I started in the industry when the industry started. So that's different. Okay. I mean, you guys step into an existing industry. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like owning the very first ever smartphone on the planet. Nobody knows what a smartphone is, right? When I started in 3D, nobody ever heard of 3D. What is that, right? Is something with a computer, right? Keep in mind that John Lasseter, who basically created Pixar before it got bought by Disney, he went to CalArts in California. Then he worked at Disney because that was his big dream, right? As a 2D animator. He then asked them, is it okay for me to do a 3D animation on a computer, right? And this is very early on. He did that and Disney fired him because they said, what the hell are you doing? You're using a computer. You're going to, get us all fired, because if a computer starts doing 3D, we're not going to have a job anymore, right? So he got fired. He was very stressed out and disappointed, whatever, because Disney was his big dream, right? So he, because he didn't have a job anymore, he went to this business fair. He ran into George Lucas, that we know of Star Wars, right? And he was working on Star Wars, and he needed a scene with the Death Star exploding. And there's no way to do that other than with a computer. So he gave basically John Lasseter a bunch of money and said, make this happen for me. That's how Pixar started. And I was around for all of that, not working with them, but in the same flow of that industry, right? So my first jobs, I was talking to people about, I didn't get into a 3D role. I had a 3D role under my arm, and I was going to companies that never heard of 3D and said, listen, I want to do something for you, and it's called 3D, right? So it's very different. Let's see. So again, we're past an hour and a half, guys, but still having fun. So my knees have been really bad sitting in the chair for 10, 14 hours a day. I sit cross-legged by accident. Okay. Let me give you a completely weird tip for a 3D artist. Okay. And you might think, what is this about? But trust me. Okay. As a 3D artist, you're sitting behind your desk a lot, right? You're going to have problems in your lower back, in your shoulders, and all that kind of stuff, right? So trust me on this. What you do is every morning, right? You go to a door, you make sure the door's closed. Then you, thank you, you're awesome too. You take a doorknob, right? You put both of your hands on the doorknob, and then you just you lower yourself where your legs are like this. So you're like in a sitting position, right? But there's no chair. And then you stand straight again. Do that 10 times a day. And then that's like 3 minutes, right? And then you're done. What this does is it helps to it helps your core, so your muscles around your stomach and your lower back, right, and all the way up to your shoulders, meaning that you won't get yeah, I'm trying to explain this. You won't get pain in your lower back, right? So you don't have any knobs, only handles. Okay, in your case, you can hold on to the handle then. I mean, you can hold on to anything. You can hold on to a stick or a tree or whatever, right? I mean, you're a 3D artist to figure it out. Okay, guys. Anything else? Any questions? Any, let's see. What software do I use? Okay, well, let me see. And hopefully I don't repeat myself, right? I use Blender, 3ds Max, Maya, I use Cinema 4D, I use ZBrush, I use Mari, I use Houdini, I use Marmoset Toolbag, I use Quixel, I use Substance Painter, I use Substance Designer, I use Ritopo, I use I don't know. I use a lot. Okay, how would you approach the start as a 3D freelancer when people in some places don't value it in return? Again, watch the series on freelance. I talk about this stuff, right? I do. Thanks so much for the stream. Gonna go watch your videos. Thank you. What would be a good diet for okay. I don't know. Stay healthy. I mean, in all seriousness, right? Being a 3D artist is it's a strain on your physical well-being and also on your mental well-being. It can be, right? Why? Well, because first of all, you're sitting in a chair all day long, right? You typically don't get out much. You work late a lot. You're right in the cheers from Japan. Oh, I love Japan. It's my favorite. It's the coolest country I've ever been to. What was I talking about? Sorry, guys. Yeah, your health, right? So make sure you get enough entertainment for yourself. The things that help you to stay creative are usually externally, right? Read books, talk to people, watch movies, do whatever you need to do to distract yourself, right? Let's see. Why you don't become a director? Why? Because I like teaching. With the new ways on making cloth in Blender, ZBrush, Marvelous, etc., I was looking for ways to improving my knowledge about clothing behavior. So do you have any tips, content about it? I do. I have Marvelous Designer videos. I have N-cloth videos in Maya and so forth. Yeah, so I said 4.5 minutes. I think it's going to be keep your 4 hours. Yeah, I know. I'm going to shut up. Okay, let's see. Under 3ds Max, number 4D, Maya, ZBrush, Substance Painter, and just getting to my. Well, the thing is this: all the not all the videos, all the software I just mentioned, right? The reason why I use all these different software types, that doesn't mean you should, right? The reason why I do that is because I make tutorials. People say, hey, can you make a tutorial in Mari? Can you make a tutorial and so forth? If you're a 3D artist, there's really no need for you to know all of these, right? I mean, if you know 2 3D packages, let's say, I don't know, Blender and Maya, if you know Substance Painter, if you know ZBrush, you're basically set, right? And I know it's cool to know all of these different things, but if you have to maintain knowledge on 20 different types of software, I don't know. Let's see. How do I deal with disappointment with corporate culture? The thing is this. You set yourself up for disappointment because you have expectations, right? If you have an expectation that is not met, you can be disappointed. So to reverse that is if you don't expect anything, right, then you're not going to be disappointed. The trick here, and I talk about this in these series, is if you're dealing with clients, this is a business discussion, right? It's hard because most 3D artists are creative, so they're kind of like, you know, they internalize things. But this is a very business-like, unpersonal discussion. It's not about you. And again, I talk about this in the videos. It's not about you. It's about the product you are delivering and the value it has to the other party, right? And you need to hold on to your beliefs and what you feel your value is. If people don't value your work, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have value, right? I'll give you an example because I hear this all the time. People will say, okay, I showed my work and he doesn't like it and she doesn't like it and he doesn't like it and I'm so disappointed I'm going to stop 3D, right? Okay, give you an example. All right, so you are in a swimming pool, right? And it's raining and I offer you a glass of water. Where's the value in that, right? I didn't ask for a glass of water. I don't want a glass of water, you know, go away. The other example, you've been crawling through the desert. It's 127 degrees, right? You haven't had a drop of water in 3 days. I offer you a glass of water. It's still the exact same glass of water, right? The only thing that has changed is the perception. The value has changed because the perception has changed. The situation has changed. Whether something has a value, whether somebody feels your work has value or not, has nothing to do with your work. It is related to their perception of your work and whether they see value in your work. If 2 people see value in your work and 10 do not, does it have value or not? That's that whole bakery story again. You don't have to be the best baker in the world. You just have to be able to make bread that people will eat. There you go, right? Does that make sense? Okay, guys. Well, we're almost an hour and 45 minutes in, guys. So I am really going to stop now. Yeah, like I said, I could go on all day. I really appreciate you guys. I think you're awesome. Please check out my videos, okay? And again, I'm not asking for views, guys. You're asking all these questions that are in my videos, right? And I just want you guys to be awesome and to be successful, okay? So it's time for me to make quesadillas. Like I said, here is that link to that Facebook group. Don't forget to check that out. Why am I not on ArtStation? Because I don't need to be on ArtStation, because I have more clients that I can handle, and because it's my videos are not about me, my videos are about you, right? And I don't want to make videos where I, you know, hey, look at me, look how cool I am and all that. There are a lot of 3D stations on YouTube where they will do a 4-hour time lapse in 3 minutes with music on top of it. How are you going to learn anything from that, right? It's basically, look how cool I am. I get questions all the time from people, model something from the latest sci-fi movie or model something from the whatever. I model something because there's an educational element to it that will help you to learn something, right? I know that's boring, but that's just what I do, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much. Like I said before, this live stream and every other live stream is available for playback for anyone who's a channel member or for anyone who's a patron, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience, and I'll see you guys in the next time, okay? Thank you, guys. Bye. Love you.